All right, on this video, we're gonna talk about why Adam22 needs to be quiet when it comes to faith, religion, and Jesus. Don't go anywhere.
I don't need nothing else. Every time I'm with you, yo, it's something else. It's a fact, and it's nothing else. Got your hand out, you don't even need the help. Ooh, I don't need nothing else. Every time I'm with you, yo, it's something else. It's a fact, and it's nothing else. Got your hand out, you don't even need the help. Ooh, that's right. I don't need nothing else. That's right.
Hey, what's going on? It's Ruslan with KingsDreamENT.com. This channel exists to encourage, empower, inspire you to live God's dream for your life. I'm a hip hop artist, creative entrepreneur. I wanted to get into this VladTV Adam22 interview. Now, just to start, I would like to share that, listen, I'm a fan of VladTV's channel. He too is a fellow, Soviet Russian white dude in hip hop, so I appreciate him. And I like some of Adam22's content. His listening streams on Thursday obviously influenced my Fan Love Friday streams that I do where I review music every Friday. I saw this interview, it's part 10, and I saw something in this part of the interview that really rubbed me the wrong way. I was surprised by some of the stuff Vlad actually said, and I wanted to react to this video considering that it is Holy Week. Good Friday's coming up this Friday. This interview is on the back of them kind of dissecting Kanye's album, and they made some valid points about Jesus King not being the dopest album that Kanye's ever made. Not mad at that, but then they got onto this topic of faith, and I think Adam22 kind of spoke out of pocket. It's about the 3:05 time mark.
For me, obviously, I'm immediately skeptical because I see him using
him as Kanye,
like his music as a Trojan horse to sort of shovel religion into people's fucking faces, and there's a lot of young people who maybe haven't had like the anti-religious argument put in front of their face. So
there's a lot of young people who haven't had the anti-religious argument put in their place. For real, in 2020 with social media, a lot of people haven't had the anti-religious what?
Sometimes I feel like with Kanye trying to make Christianity look sexy is that I need to like actually speak out and say something and be like, nah, like this religion shit is stupid.
No, you don't, Adam. No, you don't. You don't need to speak out. You need to just keep quiet, keep your opinion to yourself. You don't really know what you're talking about when it comes to religion. And it's just not, I don't talk about BMX riding and the culture that you come from. I don't know anything about that. I don't know about your world. So guess what? I don't talk about that. So no, you don't. You don't need to talk about that because you don't know what you're talking about.
A waste of your time. This is not how you want to spend your life. There's nothing good about this.
There's nothing good about this. Okay.
It's not always the most popular opinion, but
because it's a stupid opinion.
I mean, somebody got to say it sooner or later.
Well, you and I are atheists.
But watch what he says next. I really appreciated this, and I sent Vlad a DM, and I actually thanked him for saying what he's about to say right now. Vlad reads my DMs, I know he does. But this is really interesting.
I've seen good come from religion. I've seen people around me who have embraced religions.
I've seen good come from religion. I've seen people around me embrace religion. Thank you, Vlad. Appreciate you saying that, man. According to Adam22, there's nothing good that comes out of it. And I appreciate you, as an atheist, pushing back on that point. Thank you.
It starts to be problematic when a person feels like if you don't follow this, you're not on the same level that they are.
Absolutely, that becomes problematic. If you don't follow my worldview, if you don't follow what I believe, you're not on the same level that I'm at, which is literally what Adam22 is saying right here.
Like, okay, if you don't accept Jesus, you're just not going to go to heaven, even if you've never even heard of Jesus, because
not all Christians believe that, by the way, Vlad.
Oh, this is where these arguments start to fail. But
you have to believe that to be a Christian, more or less. Otherwise, it's just bullshit-ass version of Christianity. Like the version of Christianity that I grew up with and why it was so easy for me to reject it as a kid was because I actually believed everything that was in the book, at least until 12 or 13. Like, I was the kind of person that as soon as I was exposed to the idea that there's no God, it just clicked. It's like, oh yeah, that's what I believe. That's it right there. I'm like,
Adam, let me first open up by telling you, I apologize on behalf of the Christians that have hurt you. Clearly you grew up in some kind of fundamental Christian home. Maybe the Bible was used and abused in front of you. Maybe people took it to an extreme. Common, I empathize with people like that. I actually grew up in an environment much similar to Vlad's, where I came from a communist nation. Then I experienced some stuff in an Orthodox Armenian church, much different than the type of church I attend now, that really scarred me as a kid. I won't get into the details, but you kind of look up my story if you care. By the time I found myself as a teenager, I had been arrested at age 11, breaking into houses. I was on probation, I was smoking weed, drinking. I was a derelict kid, and it really came, and this is not projecting this on all atheists, but it came at a very young age, flat out saying, I'm an atheist. I don't believe there's a God. That really carried with me all the way through high school, where I did not believe in God. I did not believe there was a God. The way I came to faith was not something that was cultural to me. Again, I disconnected myself from the idea of religion. I was hurt by religion. I didn't want anything to do with religion. And then when I was in high school, and I then examined the personhood of Jesus for myself, the history of the resurrection. I examined a book by Lee Strobel called The Case for Christ. And Lee Strobel was a forensic journalist working to disprove the claims of Jesus because his wife was a Christian, and in the process got radically converted, became a Christian, and then wrote a book called The Case for Christ, which has then been made into a documentary and been made into a Netflix movie. Anybody that's a skeptic, I would encourage you to openly and objectively look at that film and look at that documentary, read that book for yourself, and see if the claims for there being a historical Jesus, which pretty much everybody agrees on, there being a historical resurrection, a crucifixion and a resurrection of Jesus, which there's a ton of evidence for, and to me, that made more sense. That required actually less faith than believing that the entire universe was magically appeared from some gases and some big bang. It made more sense that there was order to the universe, that there was a creator, that there was a designer, that there was purpose to life, and that it wasn't just on me to be my own God and be my own moral authority, but that there was an actual morality and an authority outside of me. Now again, this is my experience with the faith. It wasn't something that was ever pressed upon me. It wasn't forced upon me. And it was me examining history and examining an event for myself. And then Jesus got a hold of my heart, transformed me. And the positive things that have came out of my faith. I'm a kinder person. I'm a more loving person. I've been able to marry the woman of my dreams. I'm a substantially better father with Jesus than without Jesus. I'm a substantially better husband with Jesus than without Jesus. I'm substantially more financially stable and responsible with Jesus than without Jesus. And I won't just let myself speak for it. Here's one of my really good atheist friends who fought a guy who's a comedian out of New York, sharing how he sees the positive virtues of Christianity in my life playing themselves out. Me and you do not believe the same things, but I wanted to bring you in as someone who comes from and shares an atheist worldview to share your side you've seen of Jesus in my life and Christianity in my life, and just observationally.
Because you are a weak person, morally, you need God, so therefore you've clung on to a more faith-based worldview in your life through Jesus Christ. Yeah, I think it's helped you save money. It's probably helped you, be faithful and loyal to obligations. I think when people see a purpose of something greater in their lives, they have incentive to do better. And my incentive is something different than yours, but I don't see that it's done anything evil to you.
Do you think the ethos that, Jesus said the entire law hangs on, love God, love your neighbor as yourself, do you think that that's a good, moral foundation for any person?
Those scriptures, when he simplified the 10 commandments into the 2, that's a universal ethos. I think they are good. I'm more of a treat people the way that they want to be treated, because some people treat themselves like complete garbage, and we might not be treating you like that.
You've been on the channel multiple times. I got to get you back on. I appreciate you, man. Thanks so much, bro. And so guys, this whole notion that Christianity is inherently evil, or that the teachings of Jesus is evil, is just complete BS. It's just not true. You don't know what you're talking about, and I would request humbly, don't talk about it. Don't talk about it, because if you look at all of our modern advancements when it comes to literacy, when it comes to medicine, when it comes to the arts, all sprung out of the church. Examine how we got the ink press and how the world became literate. It was because Martin Luther wanted to make copies and translate the Bible to as many languages as possible, and that's what got people reading. Let me ask you a question, you too, Vlad. How many atheists nonprofit organizations do you know that are building wells in Africa, that are feeding people in third world countries? How many agnostic organizations do you know that are doing philanthropy, adding value, helping people? Not that many, right? The majority of our humanitarian work, the majority of our charity work is all done by Christians or organizations that started out as Christian organizations. So I'm sorry that you've had a bad experience or you've been told misinformation about Christianity. There's been some awful things done in the name of Jesus, but fam, examine history. And so Adam, I would love to have this conversation with you over Zoom. I would love to bring you on my channel and have this conversation with you. Vlad, I've invited Vlad on my channel before. And you guys don't want to have this conversation, so then it makes it seem like the very thing that you presume other Christians are doing, which is saying,
if you don't follow this, you're not on the same level that they are.
We're up here and you're down here, is what you guys are exhibiting in with your platforms as atheists. You're saying that we're up here, we're elevated, we're enlightened, and we're sure that there is no God, and everybody else is beneath us. So in closing, have more Christians on your platform like Michael Franzese and Bizzle and Lecrae. Don't sit here and cap about something that y'all just don't know what you're talking about. Vlad, again, thank you for being defensive of people who are religious. Adam, cut it out, bro. Don't take every single opportunity that you have to run the name of Jesus through the mud because you had a bad experience. That's just not fair, bro. I don't discriminate against all atheists and all agnostic people or non-religious people. I welcome them in. I have them in my personal life. I have friends, and I would encourage you to do the same. Meet some real Christians. How about you go to a Sunday service sometime, Adam, and see what the allure is and see if it's all BS, because that's just not what it is, man. And so I just know that there was a moment in my life where I had a real encounter with a real living God, and it changed everything for the better. Everything for the better. And maybe you haven't met people like that. Maybe there's not people like that in your own personal life. But we exist, fam. We exist. And we're in hip hop, and we're here to stay, and we're going to continue making music. And you guys can continue looking past us and looking over us, or you can embrace us and get to know somebody that shares a different perspective. Anyway, appreciate y'all watching, man. Give this video a thumbs up. Tag Adam and Vlad in this. We'll see if they even see it and if they care. Let me know what you guys think about this. If you guys have bad experiences with Christianity, have you guys had bad experiences with Christians? Are you scarred by the church? I would just say that a lot of that stuff that was done in the name of Jesus didn't actually reflect the teachings, the heart, the virtue, the principles of Jesus. Peace.